Me? Aloha, everybody. This is Aldrin Guerrero, and this is Friday live UU podcast, and you know what that means. I don't know how to actually do this. Something about 2 cents from each of us, and best 6-cent answer.
Not bad. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ukulele on the Ground podcast. My name is Aldrin. Joining me are Mr. Aaron, the voice Nakamura. Say what's up, Aaron.
What's up?
And also Mr. Kahai, the legend Fergan. Say what's up, Kahai.
What's up,
gentlemen? We are here. Although we are separated right now because
socially distancing.
Socially distanced. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just a little bit under the weather. Like, I don't have like COVID or anything, but like I am sick. I have a sinus infection of a cold. You guys don't need to know any of that stuff. But I just don't want to infect the other two guys. And I apologize for like my Barry Manilow voice for the day. But you know, some people might like the change. Maybe you know, like maybe LG just gets sick all the time. His voice sounds a lot more soothing and reassuring. You know, when it's low. But hey, you know, we didn't want to skip this week because we've been skipping a lot last month, so we figured we'd just do one kind of, you know, like social distanced. So this is today's Aloha Friday live podcast. Still live. We're still live, and you guys are here. You guys are joining us. Thank you so much for all the people that are tuning in. What we do here is we answer any and all of your questions via chat, via emails, via voicemails, wherever we may get them. We try to answer them as best as we can. Any questions, ukulele related questions, guitar questions, bass questions, clarinet questions, saxophone questions, trumpet questions, right, Kahai? We can answer trumpet questions, right?
Some maybe.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, relationship
like, how
questions.
many valves are on a trumpet? I can answer that. And then that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we give law advice, you know. We don't. We don't. No, maybe I shouldn't say that. We don't give legal or financial advice. We don't do that. So ask us anything except for those two things. But we'll try to. I'll try to give my best 2 cents, and the other guys will give their 2 cents, and we'll come up with the best 6-cent answer for you. Yeah, so here we go. Kahai, what is the first question?
So Yvette asked, I'm going to purchase a soprano ukulele, but I was thinking of adding a pickup. I wasn't sure if it was a good idea since the soprano is small. However, I do use my ukes for the classroom. If I decided to get a pickup for the soprano ukulele, what do you advise? There are so many choices. I don't know the difference between a passive pickup and an active pickup.
Well, I mean, soprano ukuleles works just like, you know, like regular ukuleles as far as like picking the pickup goes and stuff. Like, I think you can get whatever pickup that that you want, and I think it would be a good idea to get a pickup if you're using it for a classroom. The soprano is not going to give you that big of a sound, as not as big as say like a tenor or even a concert would. So you want to cut through, especially if you're teaching a class, you know. So getting amplified is actually a great decision. As far as choices in amplification, you can pick up whatever pickup that you want to use. The difference between passive and active is the active is powered by like a battery, whereas the passive is just, you know, it just plugs straight right into the to the amp. So because of the battery, it'll give you a lot more signal, meaning it's a lot louder. It might be, you know, more beefy as far as the sound goes. Passive, because it picks up just whatever's on the ukulele. It might not have the same kind of signal or tone or volume as the active does, but it still does the job. I mean, if you want to go that route, the active is definitely going to be a lot more expensive than the passive. But for a soprano, I would suggest getting a passive pickup and getting just like a nice DI or something like that. That might be good. A DI that you can like control the the volume and the EQ. that might work out well. You can just plug it in straight if you want to. I think pickups like what is that? The one that like makes my my DIs. What is that? Like LR bags. LR bags makes a great pickup for for any size ukulele, because it's like kind of this rope looking thing that goes underneath the saddle of your ukulele, so that can fit whatever size it needs to, rather than like a say you have to get a specific, like a size specific, like Fishman or any of those ones that fit on the under saddle of your ukulele, whereas like the LR bag is kind of a rope. Same, you can also get like some cheaper ones, which should be okay. I don't think, it's not like you're gonna be using it on stage and it needs to sound like like the best or anything like that. If you're just using it for your classroom, any should be okay. Like it should be just fine. But if you have a good budget, I would suggest getting a passive with a nice DI that you can control EQs and volume and stuff. But if not, just getting a passive should be okay. If it's just for the classroom and that's all you're using it for, just get whatever cheap but like reliable pickup that you can get. And usually people whoever's gonna set it up for you should know like what pickup to use. Passive should be fine. You don't need an active for just classroom work, especially if it's I mean, unless you have like an expensive ukulele that you do want to like aspire one day to maybe play on stage or whatever, then maybe like you want to, and if you have the budget for it, maybe get like a nice pickup, like a nice active pickup. But if you're worried about weight also, because usually active pickups use 9 volts, there are some active pickups that just use the watch batteries, which might be good for sopranos. So there's lots of choices actually. Yeah, so you can pick whichever one you want. Should be good. You don't necessarily need like a super duper good good one that professionals use or whatever, if you're just using it for the classroom. I think that's my that's my advice. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, if you already have an amp,
yeah,
then that kind of can determine what option you're and how much you want to spend.
Yeah,
determines what option you want to go with. And then also, it depends if you want to actually drill into your ukulele. If it's a really nice ukulele and you don't want to drill, like
there are some options for that too.
Yeah. So there are like budget options where there are like just stick on, sort of passive, or some of them are active as well, right? Stick on amplification
That's
options.
Yeah,
So,
I just bought one. I forgot who made it. Like I bought one from Mike actually. So maybe we can have Mike answer this one the next time he comes, because there is one that I used. I actually bought it and it was like $40, $50. It was not that expensive, and and it works fine. Like we stuck it on one of like the collars that they had over at Scotty's Music, and it sounded really good.
Just to try.
Yeah.
So that's an option as well if you don't if you're not too sure who's gonna install it, or you don't really want to drill into your ukulele just yet, and you just want to play around with possibly amplifying your ukulele. That's an option as well.
Yeah. Because if it's just something like for the classroom, you don't need something super heavy duty or anything like that.
Yeah. And then if you do want to drill, like if you're not comfortable drilling into your own ukulele and installing a pickup, then you have to really like make sure that you get someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I might have it around here actually. Talk, Kai. I'm gonna go look for it.
I would suggest like even going to a music shop, right, and then just trying ukuleles with different pickups, and then asking the shop employees like, is this a passive? Is this active? Or like if they know what brand it is even. And if later on you order like a custom ukulele from a brand and they install it themselves, or you order it from another shop, you can even say like, I tried out these ukuleles at this shop and they had the Fishman pickup, or they had this pickup.
Yeah.
Do you have something of equivalent, sound or signature or type? And they usually will, or they'll have advice for you, right? Like they'll be like, oh, if you want that, that's like a passive pickup that's kind of like this. So we would install maybe this like whatever the Fishman or K&K or whatever. So you can always like, I feel like the unless you're installing it yourself, the person who's installing it too, you can talk to them and get their advice and find out what they think is like good or what would fit your needs best, right?
Yeah.
Because like they're like an active pickup too. Like Aldrin said, like you don't really need all the bells and whistles to do that. But then another thing is, right, like active pickup usually runs on batteries. So if you're worried about changing out the batteries all the time and stuff, it's like just get a passive pickup or get something where they have rechargeable batteries now too. Like, so yeah, there's all these different options.
Yeah. Top brands probably LR Bags, Fishman for like active pickups. MySci also does. It's like a lighter rechargeable battery.
Yeah, so like you recharge it by plugging it in. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So that's an option as well. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
And then K&K they have both active and passive, but if you're looking for a passive, like a pretty reliable brand of passive pickup, K&K, and then a bunch of other stick-on passive and active.
Yeah.
Somebody said Leilani has a non-adhesive stick-on. I think that's
the one. That's the one. I think it's Leilani. That's the one.
You couldn't find it.
I couldn't. No, it's actually in my in the Action Packer in the car. I have it in the Action Packer just in case someone wants to play with us and they don't have a pickup. So I actually have that in there, and that's why I have that.
Yeah.
Because I think it sounds good.
Yeah, and Jim said, alternatively, if you have an amp, what about the microphone option for a classroom?
No, I wouldn't necessarily suggest that, because that means you have to like stay in one place and stuff. You know, like with a classroom, it has to be pretty like, for the lack of a better term, like active. You're actively trying to like help the students out, walk around. You know, like I wouldn't necessarily suggest being in front of a microphone all the time. Like you kind of need to move.
Yeah.
I think like plugging in using a pickup is just the best option. I mean, if you have no other options, I guess like a microphone would do, but it really, if you can plug in.
Yeah. I think too, like if you really want to pick up or you want to try plugging in your uke like just for that, then look into a pickup. But if you're kind of telling yourself, I need this to teach my classroom. I think you might want to like consider like or like do a class or ask somebody maybe like, can you sit in the far back of the class and tell me how well you can hear the uke? Because if it's not a huge classroom, I think you'll be surprised by how far it travels, right? The sound and like what people can even hear without a pickup. Because like, if you have a pickup too, that can also introduce problems of like feedback or just interference and noise. And so if you really don't need it, like it might, instead of being a benefit to you, it might be more of a problem or something. And then you might just
potential,
it might
point
be
of
like,
failure.
I don't want to use this anymore even. I'm just going to go unplugged, so.
But she mentioned she had like a soprano, so I don't know how much that's going to cut through. Like if in a small classroom with like 20 other sopranos play 20 other sopranos playing,
and then also like what age group
that's true. Is
she
and kids tend to wail on their ukuleles, man.
If it's little kids too, like the microphone option is probably not the best. Like having like a microphone that's set at the same height as them, like you're guaranteed gonna have a kid that's trying to trying to derail the class by talking into the microphone. So
okay, cool. So hopefully that answers your question. If anything, I can bring the Leilani pickup next time, like just to kind of show you folks. It's a really great option. I like it a lot. And then we can use it, just kind of use it on an ukulele so that you guys can hear what it sounds like. Sorry, I don't have it right with me right now, but I'll bring it next time.
Yep. Or like I mean, I said like go to a local music shop and try it out. That's probably like the best way you'll get a feeling of what different pickups sound like and stuff. But if that's not an option, just like look online. I'm sure there's tons of videos, right, where they go through all the different pickup options and like what's the differences, and they give sound samples. So yeah, you can. I think you can, if you have something already in mind that you're interested in, you'll probably find resources online that will give you an idea of what it sounds like and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Next question.
Mark said, what do you think of the tenor Risa Uke stick? And could I put a red unwound low G on it without a problem?
I have played those, the Risa sticks and stuff. Not like the biggest fan of that, but I mean, like, it sounds okay plugged in, you know, but just like the form of it, like, because it doesn't have, like, you know, like the curves of like a full size ukulele or whatever, and it's not even like that. It's, you know, like the regular curves. If say like you have a thin body or whatever, it's not even just that, but it's just like kind of straight looking with no curves at all. It's tough to, like, you know, to get my arm position and really get, like, really play the, you know, the thing, or play it well anyway. I mean, you can play just whatever if you're just doing chords, if you're just playing that, like, that's fine, but really getting into like some like higher level stuff, like it would require a lot of attention. Like, I'm not saying you can't, but I just feel like, yeah, like, well, even with the strap, it's like thin here. Like, because you know, like Dwayne had one, like, and when I used to do like open mics with Dwayne, he would just bring it up. He's like, "Isn't this cool?" I'm like, "That's, you know, it's fine." Like, it's plugged in and it's a uke, I guess, you know, but not hating on it or anything, but just it's tough to play. That's all, you know. Like, if I needed something like for travel or whatever, or if I'm just like playing with like an ukulele group and whatnot, like, and have a small little amp with me, why not? It works. I'm just playing, you know, like playing all like down here, just strumming, like that's not a problem. But if I'm playing a gig or whatever, I wouldn't necessarily gig with it, just because just the form for me is not, you know, not all there. But I think they sound fine. You know, if you're just using it for those purposes, I think it's okay. Putting a low G on it, as long as the nut can handle, I think it should be fine. Like, I just, you know, I think that's the only hurdle if you're switching from a low or high G, is if the nut can handle. What I mean by that is if you know, that there's indentations. This is the nut of your ukulele right here. Okay, there's this white part that, you know, that goes between the neck and the headstock of your ukulele. That's where the strings lie. So if you look at here, the strings are gonna lie down on that, and that's the nut. It's 0 fret. Okay, so sometimes, like, the groove here where the strings will lie on is specifically made for a high G, meaning if you put a fatter string, which is like a low G on there, it might not fit into the slot. Therefore, it's gonna like sit at the top, and that you run into problems where, like, might come off and stuff. And, you know, some people would probably say, like, oh, just make the slot bigger and stuff, but you have no idea how much problems that would cause if you, like, just manually did it yourself without kind of any knowledge of how to make that slot, you know, bigger without causing anything. Because if you make it bigger, you might run into the problems of making it lower. And if you make it lower, that you're going to run into those problems of it buzzing, and maybe intonation kind of goes and stuff. So try to see if it fits. If it doesn't fit, go to your local music store and see if somebody can just kind of, you know, make the nut wider for you. They should kind of know how to do that. But I wouldn't suggest doing it yourself, because, you know, buzzing is not is not fun. Because even if you go back to your high G, that's going to be lower than it was, and it's going to buzz too. So just make sure, if it doesn't fit right on the nut, have somebody do it for you. But other than that, I think that's the only, like, the only problem that you might run into switching strings. I mean, your ukulele should be able to handle it, and without any other problems. I think that's it. Just a nut thing. The saddle is not a problem or anything like that. So yeah, go for it. If it fits, then it fits. If not, then see somebody to just get it wide.
Yeah. The strum stick doesn't have a head to it either, right?
No, that's right. It doesn't have a headstock. Yeah, no. It's so weird looking, and it's just like, I don't know, and I like a good balance of ukulele, so I'm like not the guy to ask about that, because like, you know, some people love them, you know what I mean, like for travel, for like ease of, you know, like just space wise and stuff, and you don't need to carry this case around and just carry this nice little stick. I get that, and that's like, that's the gimmick of it, you know, like it's a stick, like you can carry it wherever, but
throw it in a backpack.
Yeah, throw it in a backpack. It's totally fine, I guess, for those kind of uses. Or if you're just like, maybe if you're like a songwriter, and you know, like you don't really want to bother people, like you don't have to plug it in, and it sounds, you know, like you can hear like the chords, and you're just trying to write songs. Maybe like you want to go like hike somewhere, and you don't want like, you know, something too bulky to put in your backpack, but you want to like go out in nature and write your song, or whatever, you know, whatever you're into. Like, I think that would be a pretty good, you know, good call. Just bring that. It's not necessarily loud. Well, it's not loud at all, you know, like it's as loud as, say, like an electric guitar, and you can use it to write, you can use it to, you know, just for those kind of things. But as far as like any kind of serious uking with it, like I wouldn't necessarily use it. But it does have it has its place. I don't like, you know, I don't like pooping on any ukes. that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here. Like there's a person for every ukulele. There's a person for it, you know. There's an audience for that, and that's cool. And it's just not me.
I think like that's kind of why, like, whenever people ask us like, what's your opinion on this uke, right?
Yeah.
And I think most times they kind of want us to either say like, yeah, we like it, so they can feel good about like, oh, then I'm gonna get it, or it's I don't know about it. But then it really is like what might not work for us, like other people.
Yes.
I mean, there have been ukuleles that we said like, I don't think it's the greatest, and then they're like, oh, I love this uke, and it's like that's perfectly fine, right?
Yeah,
because it's just there are things that are just personal preference that people connect with and people enjoy. So
yeah, and people are gonna see me in person and we're like, so what do you really think about?
That pretty much is what
that's what I actually think, because honestly, like I said, I've had experiences with it and stuff. Like my friend Dwayne has one, he loves it, you know, like, and it's good. He's an architect, so like he just keeps it with him, so whenever he wants to jam, doesn't necessarily want to bother other people. Like, it's nice, quiet, and it's like portable, so that's cool. There's something for everybody. And I'm not the audience for it.
Yeah,
and that's fine. That's okay.
I always thought of it as like something that you would take with you in order to keep practicing.
Yeah.
Where you didn't have to bring your whole ukulele. It's just like basically just the fretboard of the ukulele that you can pick on,
right.
And you can practice. You can keep practicing on the road. When you're away.
Because like, I feel like even what we're saying about the uke stick, right? I think that's pretty much what they said about like the first electric guitars. Like, why would you want a guitar that doesn't make any sound? Like, that's the point of the guitar, right? And or like, you mean you have to plug it in before you can hear it? That's so stupid, you know. And then now it's like, oh, like I bet like the people who are saying that were like, I should have jumped in on that. Like,
I should have bought some Fender stock back.
Gibson. He came to me, and it was like railroad track, like, you know, metal and stuff. I thought it was so stupid. Oh, dang it.
See? That's it. You know what I mean? Don't dismiss anything, because like even back then, okay, if I'm gonna be, you know, not controversial or whatever, but if I'm gonna bring up some stuff, like way back when we did like NAMM and stuff, and we would like see all these, you know, all these smaller ukulele companies like coming up and whatnot. If you would ask me like 10 years ago, 2000, we were doing NAMM 2000, so 10 years ago, that some of the big companies now, like Flight and like who else, you know, there's like another one, like a Nue, like all of these companies, I would not have predicted that they would be like as big as they are now. I would, you know, like, and I mean, I'm not saying that they wouldn't have gotten big at all. Like, I think they would have found some success, but I think like they made some great decisions in the past like 5-6 years with, you know, with their artists and like in their social media and whatnot, and like, and just with the quality of stuff that they've been making, that they're, you know, they're actually a great name. So I don't ever want to dismiss any ukulele or any ukulele company just because, you know, whatever like opinion that you have now doesn't necessarily mean this is going to be the same thing, or their ukuleles are going to sound the same, or they're going to build it exactly the same 10 years from now. Because I would have been, if you'd asked me about, like, let's just say flight, like if you asked me about flight 10 years ago, I'd be like, I don't know, like, I'm not the audience for it. But now look, there's like a huge audience for it, like I'm still not the audience for it, like, just to be honest. But it's great, and there's a bunch of people that that endorse it. A lot of people have been talking lots of great stuff about it, and I don't doubt that. I've played myself some flight, and they're all right, definitely better than they were 10 years ago. So that's a good thing. Everybody can always get better, and that's yeah.
I think it's just because, like, what our wants and needs from an ukulele, it doesn't align with like somebody else, but then for another person it's like, this is the perfect ukulele for me, right? This is what I was looking for in a ukulele.
Yes.
Like
Luna's another one. That was the other one that I was thinking of. There's like like Luna. Has
It was like, it seemed at the like, when they first came out, it was like, oh, this is just like trying to jump on the bandwagon, kind of gimmicky with like the graphics and everything, and then they did a lot of things right. So now they're established, and people love them. So
go back to those original like interviews that we did with those two companies. You're like, oh man, like I don't know about those ukes, but now like, and see how
they'll be around in a few years.
So I don't want to dismiss anybody just because that that has kind of proven me not wrong already, because it's not like I said they were bad or anything, but it's just proven to me that you can like get better.
I think, like, was it Ohana, or it was one of those brands too, and they had like a yellow ukulele with like a smiley face on it.
And Mahalo, that's Mahalo.
Yeah, Mahalo.
Yeah, Mahalo ukuleles. Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, that like I would never buy that for a kid. But then they said, like, right, like, I think
that
they're
was
like
their
top seller of the year or something. So it's like, it's just, that's what kids want, and that's the important thing. So
yeah. It's for somebody. Somebody wants that thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up.
Vicky said, if my A string keeps getting pulled off the neck when I'm doing a pull-off, is it because I'm just trying too hard?
Wait, what? Like, if your A string is pulling off the neck, as in, like, if it's coming off your...
I think so. I think that's what they're saying.
Oh, yeah, that is
the nut.
That's a nut problem.
It's a nut
that's
problem.
A nut problem. That is not you. That's a nut problem. Because, here, watch. Like, I'm going to pull off as much as possible here, and it's still there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna pull off this much. See that? Look how much I'm pulling off here. It should still stay the same. So that's not a you problem. That's a nut problem. Get this looked at by somebody that knows what they're doing, because that shouldn't be doing that.
And then if you're worried about it pulling off too hard, it's just like, I mean, the pull off should make a noise, but then more than that, like, when you're adding more force to a pull off, it doesn't necessarily make it sound better. But that shouldn't happen either way.
No, it's like, it probably means that just like I was talking about earlier, the slot on the nut, the slot here might not be big enough for the A string that you're using. I don't know if you changed strings recently, but maybe the gauge of the strings that you're using now might not be whatever gauge of the strings that nut was meant for. So it might be like thicker if you maybe went for a higher tension or whatever maybe, or even a lower tension in this case, since it should be bigger. Maybe not quite fitting in the slot that great, and that's why it's raised up. It's because it's not down all the way. If it's raised up and you do this, that's definitely gonna come off. So it's a nut problem. Yeah.
Or just not the nut is not fit correctly with the strings that you're using.
that you're using. And that happens. That's fine, like, because if you did change whatever the original strings on there might have been thinner, and the maker just like compensated for whatever strings that he put on there, and it fits perfectly for those set of strings. So for example, if I'm using, say, like even just like ukuleles, they're super super common now. versus like say like a Diodari Pro Arte. A Diodari Pro Arte is going to be on the thicker side rather than, you know, or even just like Worth clears to like two Diodarios. That's, you know, that's still a little bit bigger in diameter. So it's just the string diameter might be a little bit too big for the slot in your nut. Yeah. Next. Oh yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? That was 2 cents. We need 6 cents answer for everybody.
You're probably not pulling off too hard, but you might want to just not try as hard if you feel like you are pulling off too hard, and that's what's causing it. But it's probably your nut. So yeah, that was an easy one. Just
Bam, got it. Yeah. We didn't need to phone a friend. We need to go, Corey, what's wrong with this uke?
Yeah.
And then it's like,
although they would probably be able to fix it.
They
or
would
help with that. So
it's like that guy at what is it? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Who like the last question he's like, Dad, I'm calling you to tell you that I'm gonna win. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
I would just call Corey. Like, Corey, I just want to call you to tell you I got this question.
I don't need your
I don't need your help, Corey. I can go back to I don't know, like making beautiful music. All right, next.
Juan asked, what's a good reverb and delay pedal for the ukulele?
Okay, all right, okay. My personal favorite, RV5 from Boss. Boss, like, just in general, have just been, you know, like, the best pedals to me, tone-wise, to use on ukuleles. But reverb is one of those things that, like, nobody really gets wrong, I think, you know, like, reverb is such a common pedal or effect to use that you can't go wrong, you know. Like, there's a really good Daryl Electro one that I used to use for my guitar that was really good, and it looked fancy, like, just so if you're into aesthetics of how like pedals look, Daryl Electro definitely like makes some beautiful looking pedals. Boss makes some nice heavy duty looking pedals, but if you're asking which one I used, I definitely use the RV5. It's awesome. And what else? Just any reverb
even
pedal.
for delay.
Oh, delay. Yeah, even for delay, I use a DD6 or DD7 for my delay, and that one works well. Yeah, so Boss pedals, just delay, reverb, like distortion, metal zone, like phaser, like all that stuff is all like Boss pedals. They can be pricey depending on which pedal you want and stuff, but they're heavy duty. And
they typically last forever.
And because you're basically you're stepping on it, you know what I mean? Like, just you're constantly like beating it, you're constantly stepping on it. And I think that matters, you know, like as far as the pedal goes, the build matters. But I mean, with reverb, I don't think you can go wrong with anything. I know like some guitar people would be like, no, you can definitely go wrong with some reverb pedal. But like if you're playing ukulele, you don't necessarily need a lot of reverb. You know, you don't need it to be that wet. So, you know, something with like a good room, like a room reverb would be nice, or like a hall. Like a hall is nice also, but I would go more just for room. That'd be really nice.
I think if you're starting off, right, like Boss is like the go-to and the golden standard.
Yeah.
And a lot of other pedals base the kind of like the starting point off of like Boss pedals, and then from there they go to like more extremes, or they're more detailed, or they dial it in. But really, like, the Boss pedals, I mean, I think pretty much any professional, right, like if you check out their pedal board, they'll have at least like one or two Boss pedals on there. So they are the golden standard for a reason. And like you said, they're built really well, right? Like they last forever.
Yeah.
So the secondhand market for them, like you should be able to find. Yeah. They kind of upgrade their pedals every so often. So like, they might go from like, it might be labeled as like D1 for delay, then they go to D2 series and D3, right?
Yeah. So the DD5 or DD6 that I use is digital delay 6.
Yeah.
Or 7 or whatever number it is.
But you can kind of like, you can look at like what's the newest one that's out right now, and then go like, okay, I'll go like a couple series back or whatever.
Just eBay it.
And it'll be like $50 or something, right?
Yeah.
What is $100 pedal usually brand new will be like $50. So if you just want to try it out,
and it's solid, but it doesn't have to be Boss. It doesn't have to be like any kind of name brand stuff. But like, and like I said, reverb is such a like common like effect that you can't go wrong. Even like I have a multi effects pedal from Zoom, like a Zoom 5052, I believe is what I have, and and that like the reverb and the auto wah and like the delay, you can still dial all those stuff in, and it sounds like pretty close to what you could get from with a standalone pedal. So, and that was like $75 at the time. I don't think they're $75 now and stuff, but like multi effects pedals, you can get a lot bang for your buck, because you get more than just one effect. And with ukulele, it's not like it's not like an electric ukulele where like you can really dial in on the tone and whatnot. It's like, it's just for fun, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. It kind of, in general, like the more expensive a pedal is because the tone is more specific, and then to dial it into what people generally like is usually easier, right? Like they can just go like, oh, I just put my settings at 5 all across the board, and it sounds great. But then for cheaper pedals, it's like you might have to like kind of tinker with it a little bit, or like really figure it out. But then you can make it sound great. And then some people prefer, like, once they have it dialed in, they're like, I'm never changing this. This is stuck on my board. And I'm taking this with it wherever I want to go, right? So
yeah, there are like,
it's one of those things again.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's one of those things where it's we can tell you what are good options, but at the end of the day, it is personal preference again, what you find and what you like.
Yeah, I was gonna say that like there are people that spend like thousands of dollars like on their just like their pedal setup and stuff, to getting the right tone and whatever. But I don't know, like I actually like try to save as much as I can by just being happy with whatever tone my ukulele gives me, just by like just plugging it in, and but I do suggest people try out pedals just to have fun with, like definitely Reverb, that's one of the pedals that I would like use on stage, if just so that I don't bother the sound guy to like, can you give me some reverb on my ukulele, like you can just control it yourself, and I think those are great.
Yeah. I think there's like a video where it's like a $3,000 boutique pedal, right?
Jesus.
There's only like 100 made ever, and then the guy like had that, and then $150 like knockoff of that same exact pedal, and it's like, it hurts, but it's like with this knockoff you get like 80% of the way there, really, like and I think most people wouldn't even notice, so it really is kind of like
and that too, like you would need like not just the right pedal, but like the right amp to make that pedal sound like as good as it should, or
spend more on the amp if anything.
So that's it's really it's really up to you, like, to see what your budget is and what you want to do. And with uke and stuff, using pedals, usually you just do it for fun, unless you're like a super professional that needs like all these pedals. I mean, there's guys like Kale has like lots of pedals. I saw Chris Fujigami recently, and he has like like a control room to launch a rocket ship with, But that's what I used to be, and I'm just so much happier not carrying all that stuff around. All right, next.
Plug and play.
Yeah, plug and play, man. That's it. And like the you have no idea like how much like the like sound guys appreciate like not having so much stuff that they gotta like they gotta work around. Because whenever we go and it's just like we tell people, I just need a DI, just like 2 DIs, 2 microphones, that's our setup, and they're like, oh, okay. And then when we plug in, our sound check lasts, I don't know, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes or something, and then they're like, oh, all right,
not even.
I have a huge Line 6 pedal board, and it's like the old multi-effects, everything. You can set different sounds for each pedal, right? So you can just swap through them. And then after, like, I just use like a VST, like a virtual amp on my computer. It's like, I don't want to pull out that pedal board and plug it. Like, if I'm going to run it through my computer, might as well. Like, weight and how much it takes to set up, I think it's a pretty big factor in how much you end up using it too. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Next. See, I didn't need Corey for that one either.
Corey, we got this one too.
Yeah, we got this one.
Go back to doing something.
Cool. Yeah. Go play more beautiful music.
Yoda asked, "Have you tried the Tonewood amp that uses the body of the ukulele to generate the sound?"
I have not. I want to. I've seen so much videos on it and stuff. There's like that guitar that does it too. And
it has it built in.
Yeah, has a
right?
built-in thing. Like I want to try that out. We tried something similar at NAMM. Like I thought that was a cool gimmick. I remember like it was like a guitar that I tried with it, and it was alright.
Was it Yamaha?
I don't remember.
It was,
it was so long ago.
I think it was like a smaller brand, right? Like smaller than Yamaha and just like on their own. Too.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was a Yamaha in the old
music shop.
Yeah. I think Mike showed me one.
Okay. Yeah.
I played it. Yeah.
I remember trying those out, and they're pretty cool, And because it's been years, I'm sure like the quality has only gone up since then. So I'm really curious to try it. And this is one of those moments where like, man, like I wish we went to NAMM. But then there are like the 99 other things that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm glad we don't go to NAMM anymore.
Yeah.
But like it's rare things like this where like, oh yeah, I would like to try that, But
I think Mike said that like at least for the guitar, the reason why like a local musician on Hawaii bought it is because they just like gig, right? And like they used to gig at the marina, I think, or something.
Oh.
And so like they just didn't want to carry around a separate amp with their guitar, so they just take their guitar and it's just strapped around them. And like if it's to 20 people around you, like you don't need a huge amp, so that worked for them.
Does Yoda know if there is any ukuleles that come with it?
I don't know. Yeah,
I'm
guessing if he's asking.
I don't know if it's like Flight again or like one of those like because I thought I saw one on Feng Yi's YouTube channel. I think that was a guitar, but I think there's like an ukulele version of whatever that was. I think like I don't want to say that there is, but I thought I saw something like that. That would be really cool though. Like, and it has like built-in effects too. It's not just like the built-in amp and stuff. It is like built-in effects, reverb, and it's like so trippy because they're playing the guitar and then like a delay is coming out of nowhere and it's like what? That's so trippy. Yeah, I remember that was the one that I tried a long time ago and I'm just like this is insane.
Yeah. I guess David in the chat said Enya has
that's what it was, not for Enya.
An amp.
Enya.
Yeah, with effects.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there was another one.
When we did the San Diego festival with You Collect the Pros, I think they gave away one of those guitars that has like the built-in effects on it.
Yeah, I think like Yamaha too. Like they're doing it, but I think it's kind of like you buy the actual things inside of it to emulate the amp and to come from the body. So I don't think it's like brand specific. I think it's like something that they can integrate with multiple or like just you have to build your uke to it. But I think
it's like an add-on or something.
Yeah, I think they can. Somebody said it's a Yamaha Trans Acoustic. That's what they're called, the Yamaha guitars.
Cool.
You want to go to the next question?
Yes, next one. Yeah, we don't have much to say because we haven't tried it, but there's definitely ukes and
Lava.
guitars.
Lava was the one that I was thinking. There's like a brand called Lava Ukuleles or Lava Music, and they have. I think they have something. Yeah.
Okay. Next up.
Audrey said, "What's the best way to learn ukulele fretboard theory?"
Fretboard theory is like kind of knowing your notes on the fretboard, or just like music theory through the fretboard. But learning your fretboard, easiest way is using of course the fret markers, like the dots here on your ukulele. That's the best way to kind of do it. But as far as theory on the ukulele or the ukulele fretboard, what's the best way to learn theory? start off by just that, by learning like the notes on your on your fretboard, and kind of knowing knowing where one string ends and the other one begins. And what I mean by that is, say like C, like, of course it doesn't end here, it keeps going, but when you play this, that's basically the same thing as this, and then that ends there, because this note here is just that. So if you play something like a scale, instead of playing and then going up with just like with the one string, knowing like when to move down is great when learning theory. And just kind of, there's drills that you can do to get better at that, and just kind of knowing which note is what. And like one of the drills that I like to do is kind of like adding to each string every time. I'll do a scale. So for example, if I'm doing like the C scale, notice that I'm only playing 2 notes on the C string, then going down. Then I'll add another note on the C string next time I go. Then add another one. Oh, I haven't done it in a while. That's it. So you just kind of keep adding one to each string as you do the scale over and over again. And of course you do it with all the scales, instead of just like C and stuff. Just kind of know that, like, okay, well, now in theory, that like these are the C notes, and in that, or the notes in the C major scale in this string. And also, because you say you're going up here, you don't want to like say reach this, for example, this is the G. You don't want to go here and then like skip E altogether and then go to the A. When you go here, you'll use a different kind of fingering for the rest of the scale. So it'd be, so that's kind of like learning the C major scale on every single part of your ukulele, and then knowing where all the notes in C is. So it's not just this. So no matter where you are in the fretboard, you should kind of know where every single C major scale note is that way. Rinse and repeat for every other scale. And also just kind of knowing shapes is another great way to do theory on on the fretboard. So like kind of knowing, say like a G shape, moving this up and down the fretboard, and like knowing the corresponding string that gives you the chord. So in this case, so what I mean by that, so if you do a G chord shape, right, the corresponding string is this one, is the E string, because that's the G note. So meaning, if you just, because this is open, if you mute the top, move the shape around, whatever note that this E string lands on, in this case, this is a C note, meaning this is a C major chord. This is the A major chord, because this is the A note here. This is B flat, so that would be B flat, C, D, E, F, so on and so forth. And that goes with like every single chord shape. There's like so much. So there's not like what's like your best advice on learning like the fretboard theory or whatever. Like fretboard theory would just be learning all the notes on your fretboard, and you can kind of do that by by using your dots, like I said. But the part there that kind of makes things difficult is the theory part that you said, because if you're learning music theory, just there's like no shortcut like to it. But I guess using shapes might be a shortcut, but you still kind of have to know the like the notes and the scales and stuff. You still have to know what notes are on your fretboard, and the best way to do that, use your dots. And how to use your dots? By, say for example, knowing all the notes in the dots. Instead of learning all the notes for all the frets, just learn the notes in the dots, and you should be good, because everything is relative. So for example, the first dots here on the 3rd fret, we have C, we have G, we have D sharp, and we have B flat. So we have B flat, D sharp, G, C. So if I were to say what note is E string 4th fret, so here, knowing that this is G on the 3rd fret, then that must be a G sharp. So everything is relative to this dot, or this dot right here. So in this dot we have C, we have F, we have A, we have D. So if this is A, E string 4th fret should still be a G sharp. because G sharp A flat is your A. You just move it down 1 fret. That'd be A flat. If you guys are like, whoa, how do we do this? Check out UU Plus, and on UU Plus we have what's called mastering your fretboard, and if you use that, like that should take care of you knowing fretboard theory, or just knowing your fretboard in general, is mastering it. Okay, and that's what the title says, right? We use acronyms to kind of memorize the fretboard, so you guys can check that out. I believe you guys can you guys can just watch it for free on, if you have a UU Plus account, but it might be a standalone thing on shop.ukulele underground. So if you want just that, you can definitely buy that just as a standalone course on shop.ukuleleunderground.com, right, Kai?
Yep, yeah, it's there.
It is, right? Okay, good. You're like, I don't want to sign up for UU Plus. I want to just learn this, and then that's it. But I mean, just sign up for UU Plus, because like I think for the same price, you get a month of UU Plus, private lessons, all that good stuff. So, all that.
And then for UU Plus members, if you're interested in theory, like practical application of theory, like fretboard theory, Solo Secrets Revealed is a good course that's available for all UU Plus members, and that really breaks down how you can use, like, actually apply music theory, like fretboard music theory, to playing and improvising on your ukulele. And then also there was a masterclass that we filmed like a long time ago with Imua, and he talks about a concept that he calls sequencing, and that's pretty much the same, like very similar to what Aldrin was talking about, like knowing different, knowing how to master like a certain scale on your ukulele in different parts of your fretboard. So yeah, that one was like, because he was basically just like playing around, and it feels like play, but it's actually practicing, like so his Imua Garza and his concept of sequencing, that's like a fun one to check out.
UU Plus, all that stuff. UU Plus, you definitely check it out.
I think a lot of people I think a lot of people put a lot of weight into like, do you know all the notes? What's the name of this note on this fret? And it's like, yeah, I can tell you, but actually, like, using it in a song is more important than just being like, I can name every single note of every single fret. And so, like, if you're gonna do, like what we were saying, or what Aldrin said, like, learn this scale on this string, or like move it along and stuff, like you probably should like don't just go like, okay, I learned the C scale, now I learned C sharp, now I learned D, now I learned D sharp. That's what like some people do, and then it's like, that's okay, but then eventually they're like, I'm kind of burnt out, and it's like, well, it's probably because you're not actually playing songs, you're just playing scales, and you're just going through it, right? The end result, what you want to do, I think what everybody wants to do, is play a song. So if you know a song and you know that it's in the key of G, then that's where it's like, okay, I'm going to learn my G scale to better know this song, and better know what makes this song sound the way it does, what notes it's using, what notes can I use to play along with this song. That's like really the end goal, right? Like don't confuse like just knowing a bunch of stuff for like that end goal of like playing a song.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Cedric said, please give your opinion on Rezo ukes.
They're loud. They're definitely pretty loud. They resonate, as the as the name implies. Same thing. There's an audience for it. Like, I don't necessarily need it to be that loud. If you're playing that type of music too, if you like playing bluegrass and or along those lines, if you like playing some Tin Pan Alley and whatever, that's definitely the way to go. But that's what they're for. They're meant to resonate. They're meant to be loud. They're meant to have like kind of a tinny sound to match the style of music that you're playing. So if you play that, it's great. Those things are great. I'm not, once again, the audience for this, because I don't play bluegrass. I don't play that type of music and stuff. So I don't necessarily need one, or I don't have a need for it. But there's guys like like James Hill that plays like Rezo ukes, and is just like, man, maybe I need one. It's like he makes it sound so good. And but I just usually talk myself out of it. Like, nah, no, you're not James Hill. You know, like you don't need that. You need to be as good as James Hill to do it. But if you if you like that sound, if you like that type of music, definitely go for it. I'm not, once again, the audience for Reso Ukes, but I'm not saying they're bad, because there's definitely an audience. There's a big audience for that, so it's cool. Especially if you're like, if you want to stand out, if you want to stand out, you want to like tower over everybody sound wise, and if you feel like like everybody needs to hear my uke, definitely get a Reso ukulele, because that's how you get there. It's like, I
think people feel like we might be discouraging people from getting it. Like, right, they're like, oh, it's just like I saw James and it looked so cool, and I was like, my finger was right on the trigger, but then you guys said like, oh, don't get it or whatever. But I think that I'm pretty sure that comes from, right, like all of us have bought music things that is like, this is so cool, and then like in a year it's like, how often do you play it? I have multiple glass slides, it's like that I never touch, right? It's just there's always like I don't want to say music, like they're kind of like gimmicks or props or like things that people use to make very musical and very good music. But then if it's not for you, it's like you're probably not gonna pick it up. So just like if you don't want to go out and just buy something right away. If you do, that's perfectly fine. But I think the best advice is always to go to a local music store, try it out, play it for like as long as you can. And then like my mom, when I played a guitar and I put it down and I was like, I don't know if I want to spend that much on that guitar. We walked around the music store and then she's like, Kahai, you've come back to the same guitar like 3 times. Like if we leave today and then we come in tomorrow and it's not here, are you gonna be like crushed? And I was like, yes, I am. So I'm going to get this guitar. I think if you feel like that, then it's like, it's probably made for you. But if it's like something you put down, you walk over to something else and you forget about it, then it's like, maybe that money that you would have spent on it, maybe it's, can be spent in a better way. So that's just the thing.
There was one time I was with Tito Boy, and Tito Boy, he plays ukulele. But he mainly plays guitar and stuff, and jam with him. One of my best friends. And we were on Oahu. And there's a music shop on Oahu, like at Ward Warehouse. I forget what it's called, but there's a music shop there. And we were just cruising. I think we were there for the anime convention. So irrelevant, but anyway, that's what we were there for. And he saw this jumbo Gibson guitar, and he's like, he doesn't have a Gibson. He loves jumbo guitars. He's a bigger dude, so he loves jumbo guitars. He saw it, and I believe it was like $1,500. And then he's like, man, it's only $1,500. Like, should I get it? Blah, 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 blah. He's like, nah, I don't know. I don't need another guitar, but I really want it. And then, like you said, we went around the store. He always goes back to that one guitar. And then I think the next time we went to Oahu, he went to go see if it was still there. He wanted to buy it. It's gone. And that guitar is now over like $2,000 or whatever. I think it's like maybe 25 at this point. And he's like, I should have bought it when it was like $1,500 or whatever. And to this day, he still remembers that time. He's like, oh, remember that jumbo that I should have gotten? I'm like, yeah, I remember that, because you remind me every time I see you. So it's one of those like you just get it. If it's calling to you, just go heed the call, so to speak.
Yeah. And then Resonator, ukuleles, guitars, instruments, they have a very specific sound to them. So like if the music that you play like calls for that sound, there's no real way of replicating that sound with any other instrument. So like, if you're going to use it, if that's the style that you like, then definitely get one. If not, if you're just going to play around with it, then I don't know, it's 50-50, I guess, at that point. If you're just interested in it, maybe just like borrow a friend's one. Or like,
see if you're into it.
Yeah.
Because I remember being in Italy, and they had like these banjo ukes like just on display and stuff, and I picked it up. Immediately I went... because that was played on like a little banjo or a banjo uke, and in that case, I just immediately went there because I'm like, you know what this sounds like, and it sounds like that kind of music. So if you like playing that, you can't replicate it because my uke doesn't sound like that. Like that. That's that kind of banjo-y sound. So if like Aaron said, if you play the type of music that is perfect for, why not just go for it? We don't, so that's why we're saying we're not the audience.
There probably is a pedal for it, but I don't know, I haven't heard anything that really replicates that sound well. Like especially that resonator sound, it's like it just is
pretty unique.
It comes from the instrument, and when you play it, you feel it too. You're not gonna get that same feeling from like any artificial means. So
And when I played with James and he had the resonator, he kind of played it like a lap steel. So I was like, oh, that's like perfect for it. Why why would you play? Why would you play just for like country or bluegrass and stuff? Because like that was an insane like. Great use for it because it resonates, and he just kind of used the slide and stuff, and he tuned it up, and I'm like, that is genius, James. Come on, man, give it up.
I think James does like a lot of stuff that with a lot of different instruments or a lot of different types, and then whenever he puts out a new video, right, we get people like, I just saw James' new video. I think I need to buy a baritone ukulele and tune it to B or something. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool. But I think that's kind of what makes it special too, is because James has these things, and he doesn't just like, okay, I have it, and I'm gonna play it like an ukulele, or I'm gonna like put it down and never play it again. He's gonna be like, I'm gonna try every iteration of playing this uke, or like by the end of it, right, can you even really call it like a uke? It's like just like, I'm gonna try every iteration of playing this instrument to find something that's cool or different or something that speaks to me, right? So that's if you do that, then I feel like almost there's not an instrument that you couldn't make work, but that's a lot of work too that James puts in.
I remember it too, because it's like, hey, in his was it Flying Leap? It was his Flying Leap album had that Jimi Hendrix cover, Little Wing in it, and that's why I started playing with Little Wing. I'm like, it can be done in the uke. James did it, like, so I'll try it out. Because I played on the guitar and stuff. So listening to it and then seeing him at the Reno Uke Fest, and we were in the same card, I'm like, dude, we gotta collaborate on this song. Can we play together? Is that cool with you? Like, can you play with me? Like, are you okay with that? So I wanted to share the stage with James, and of course, like I extended the invite to everybody. I think Brittany Paiva was there. I think who else was? And then maybe I should have named.
There's a video of it on
Mike Power,
YouTube.
I think. There's a bunch of us that played and stuff, and then so James was like, okay, well, everybody's playing ukuleles. I'll play this like a lap steel that I made from this Reso uke. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I thought we were gonna like play ukulele. I was kind of like, oh man, I wanted to play uke. But then once he started on that thing, I'm like, yeah, that's great. Like, I'm glad you did that, James. So pretty cool. I gotta pick up that name I just dropped. Those names I dropped. Oh, Brittany Paiva, James Hill. I know people, Kai.
Close personal friends.
Close personal friends.
Joel asked, maybe this is our last question?
Yes.
Or...
Okay.
Joel said, some of my uke friends say that GCEA tuning is wrong on a baritone uke since they are not designed for this tuning. What is your take on this?
Play whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like, there's like tenor ukuleles that are tuned baritone. There are baritone ukuleles tuned tenor and stuff. Like, there are strings, like, specifically that can be tuned GCEA. Okay, so it's not like, sure, the baritone was meant for DGBE, and that is true, but there are specific set of strings that you can use to tune it to GCEA. Mike was, I think Mike last week or the week before, was talking about, like having bigger hands and kind of using, a big ukulele like a baritone to play ukulele, but they don't necessarily want to do like the DGBE tuning. So you can still do GCEA on the baritone as long as you're using the right set of strings for it. The string name and the gauges, escapes me right now. But if you look, just look for like baritone ukulele GCEA tuning or whatever, like standard tuning for baritone. There is that exists. So your friend's not wrong in the sense that like the baritone is meant for DGBE, but they are wrong in the sense that like you can't play a GCEA because you can't. Like I just mentioned Tito Boy, he did it, like he was playing a baritone ukulele and he tuned it with GCEA. He's a bigger dude. He's a bigger dude with big hands. So that's how he played it. You know what I mean? Like I'm too scared of telling Boy not to do it that way. I am scared of that man. He's a big dude.
The reason why we're suggesting make sure to get the right strings for that tuning.
Yes, of course.
Is because if you get the wrong string, it can either the string might break or
damage your bridge.
Time it could. And I think we've heard of people who have done it and it works out, but it's like you're taking a risk. So just the best option is to get baritone strings for that tuning, right?
Yeah.
Or like, and the same thing the opposite way too. We've heard of people trying to tune to DGBE on tenor.
Yeah.
But it's like get tenor strings made specifically for that tuning instead.
Here, I'll show you. I hope it's still in tune. This is my tenor ukulele. I left my baritone at the office, and Kristen Sue like did a private lesson with me this week, and Sue was working with her baritone, and I saw I saw that they were working baritone. I tuned my ukulele so quick down to like a baritone tune. But it's like super loose though, so it's not the right set of strings. But I did it anyway, so whatever, it's fine. Who cares? James is out here tuning BE. You can tune GCEA if you want to. So.
I mean, we kind of just say it as like a blanket, so it's like somebody's uke doesn't break, and then they're like, "But you said you could."
You said. Aldrin said.
Yeah.
Hey, Aldrin broke my uke.
Careful.
Yeah. All right.
What was it? We had a. Drop another name. We had Jake Shimobukuro on the podcast. And then he was, and he had tuned his bass guitar to GCEA so that he knew
That's
all the notes. Yeah. So you can do whatever you want. If Jake can tune a bass guitar to GCEA.
Man, all these names are dropping on the floor. You gotta clean up after. You gotta sweep up.
Man.
I gotta sweep up all the names that we dropped on the floor.
We're just pushing the blame along to them, right? Somebody's gonna be like, the guy said Jake said that you could tune to GCEA, so I did. Now my bass is all my bass.
Hey Kahai, did you know that I got these Funko Pops from Lauren Bouchard's office? Did I tell you that? That's from Lauren's. These are his, and he just gave them to me. That's we're just dropping names like that,
Didn't he? There's like a video lesson for a song he wrote. Yeah. And he said that like I don't know, the guys like they're like changing the world or something.
He said something like that. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he did. Oh, is that Abe Lagrimas texting me? Oh, just he's just saying hello, huh? But that is legit. Yeah, these are from Lauren's office. This is pretty cool. So that's close person to friend, All right.
I don't have pops from Lauren Bouchard. I gotta go out the old-fashioned way.
But all right, we gotta go. We gotta get going. You gotta get ready for the for the next thing. So we're gonna go, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I apologize for the distanced podcast for today, but I thought it worked out just fine. I will be back at the office hopefully next week for Aloha Friday Live Jam. Sign up for UU Plus if you haven't already. UU Plus gives you so much more of ukulele on the ground, just like what we mentioned earlier. If you want to learn your fretboard, if you master your fretboard, if you want to learn some music theory, and in a master class with Imu Garza, you can definitely do so. You can learn sequencing on the ukulele. Plus many other ukulele underground favorite ukulele players are there. So Imu Garza's one. We have Craig Chi doing stuff on there. We have let's see, we have Bushima Bukuro, if we're dropping names here, you know, like we have tons of content on UU Plus, and you can also do private lessons with yours truly. And if this is basically what you see during the private lessons is where I do the private lessons. I'm on Zoom, and whatever you guys want to like work on, we definitely work on the private lessons. Those are yours. I don't do anything specific. You let me know what you want to work on, and I'll try my best to guide you as best as I can. If not, we do have standalone courses and lessons over on shop.ukulele underground, and we also have ukuleles that for sale on shop.ukulele underground. So if you're listening to this podcast for the first time, you're like, oh, maybe I should pick up an ukulele, definitely pick up a uke from shop.ukuleleunderground.com. We have an awesome selection of ukuleles from Kanilea and Islander ukuleles. So Islander, if you're like, I just want to try it out. Kanilea, if you're like, man, I'm ready to go head first on this on this ukulele journey and get yourself a nice Hawaiian made ukulele. Just like this one. People never get to see this. This is one of my favorite ukes lately. This is a D-shaped sound hole from Kanilea ukulele with a nice little sound port and and this nice armrest on the side. I use this for the private lessons. This thing sounds beautiful. Okay? Make sure you get yours at kanileukulele.com or at shop.ukuleleunderground.com. We'll see you folks next time. Stick around, all of you UU Plus subscribers, for live coaching. I'll see you guys next time. Aloha.